We are now live here at the first podcast in a while. Got my Triple Crown winner, Foggy Dan Farms, in here.
Hello, everybody.
Bob will be joining us after he gets home from his soccer coaching duties. And I've invited Jake Don, since he was the last and only the second Triple Crown winner. Dash, of course, would be included, but he probably doesn't want to join. If he does, that's fine.
Good luck to him, by the way.
As he's going to try to nail the, you can't call it Triple Crown, it's a digital crown, DC Digital Downs Crown or something like that. Digital Crown. Got jammed up a bit by another site on the use of Triple Crown, so we will not use that. We are going to spend the majority of time going over the field. It's the only race we're going to show. I understand there's been a couple. Congrats to the winners of those. I believe they were both Foggy. Or he can correct me if he's wrong.
So far.
What we are going to do is lead up over all the entries to the race, the Belmont, and look to see what we think. And once the race is over, we will stick around, talk to the winner if they want to talk, kibitz with Dash if he does pull it off. Then we've got Bob on here to go over some things that will be upcoming. You know, we all get, it's like the end of season time here is like end of year time. Christmas and New Year's coming on. So we'll talk about a few things that people have asked about. The auction, the yearlings, the Dan, do you have a show on in the background?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Someone's saying that they can hear your. Is that better? Whoever
is that better now?
Is that Dutton Crypto Corner? Yeah, it is for me. I could hear slightly something, but
yeah, I'm watching diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
We're gonna talk about obviously the EC, and then I just saw a quick thing about No World Day races. I don't know if that's true or not, so we'll ask that. And then let Bob opine on how he thought, you know, the whole 40-year-old deal of no longer with bonus credits. Or I don't know if that's official yet, but I know as of the end of the year, I don't think you can do that anymore. For those of you that are buying yearlings, just remember they're going to train really, really slow, so we'll give up on them. For those of you not buying yearlings, just remember the default on the sales page is yearlings. So if you go on there and just click and buy, you're going to get a yearling. Trust me. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Chris, by the way. Hello, Chris.
I don't hear any background. I don't know what you're hearing, but Foggy's talking, I'm talking. I don't hear anything on my feed coming in, so.
Yeah, I turned mine right down, so I doubt it's me.
I don't. I mean, I have nothing on. I mean, I'm in a room all by myself here. I don't know. Dash says it sounds fine. There's Dash. Good luck, buddy.
Hey, Dash. Good luck, man.
Okay, so being that I have the gift of gab, and I want to make sure we get through looking at the field. I'm going to go through them, name, owner, quickly, then we'll go back and look at their records and who we think the contenders are. So let me dump Foggy and me so you can see full screen. It's about as big as I can make it without it bleeding off the edge. So you see the horse in post 1 is Peak Performance from Chrisman. Logan Cooper will be on that entry. Number 2 is Double Down Doctor from Induna. I'm not familiar with this jockey, Hamal Izobeda, something like that. Number 3, Dirty Torment, also from Induna. Shane Emerson will be aboard. Number 4, Sweet Beat from Creekside with Oliver Wilson aboard. Number 4 is Beat Bomb with Creekside with Mason Storm getting the ride, the mount. Captain Hornblower from Induna with Norman Ellis. Highland Blade, another Chrisman entry with Jax Payne. Empirical, Derby and Preakness winner, nice trophies there. From Dash Stables, gets Jonas Bailey. Darmok, another Chrisman entry, it's Anthony Press. Golden Ring, an Induna entry, gets Richard Terry. Cuckoo's Nest, and More Racing Stable with Patrick Scott aboard. And the 12 horse is La Flèche Trillion with Jack Armstrong aboard. Now, let's take a look. I'm trying to stall a little bit so maybe Bob can come in here, but he can join us through and through. I'm going to go first and look at Empirical because he's kind of the feature by long shot here. Empirical, Dash Stables, ring horse from Empire Maker and Double Tap. 5 of 12 on the year. Does all 5 wins on dirt, even though he's a turf preference horse. Must be pretty close on either. Winner of nearly 2 million points. And of course, going for the triple today out of Empire Maker and Double Tap. You can see I'm only able to see the last 5 races without clicking in, but you can see the horse is red hot.
Yeah, it's hard not to like him. He's really sharp right now.
Can go the distance as he's shown
Yep.
on the 23rd of March. So it's not an issue of just throwing it in, hoping it can get there. Can definitely make the run. Impressive 3 wide in the Derby. And then in the Preakness, if I recall, got behind, kind of locked in, and just tremendous run home to get up for the win. So red hot, impressive, without a doubt, in my mind anyway, the favorite. The post depends on the trip, but you have a long time. But though you have to remember that's New York is a 1.5 mile track, so right away you're gonna have to be looking for some sort of position, although the turns are not that sharp. So be interesting to see what strategy he's got, if he's trying to go out, if he's trying to drop, if he's be interesting to know. I don't expect him to share it with us though. We will now go through them one at a time, top to bottom. Peak Performance, the turf horse, done well on the turf preference horse, done well on the dirt, winning almost all. What is he? Almost 1.4 in lifetime earnings. 1.285 of them actually been on the dirt. He is 2 for 3 on the turf. Third place in the Derby. I believe he was out. It says third, second. He was on the rail. He had a pretty good trip. Got run down by Empirical, who was 3 wide. He did not run the Preakness. I do not see a 12 furlong race in his history. On here, you can see the 2 mile and a quarter. So I don't know where he stands on a mile and a half, but maybe Chrisman can chime in on that. If he has a 12 furlong victory here, but fine looking horse for sure. Double Down Doctor Post and Double Tap, 4 for 22 lifetime, 3 for 10 on the year. I looked at this horse last night, and you can see 2 races ago it won, or I'm sorry, it was competitive, mile and a half against, I don't know if that was truly allowance or a baby stakes, or I'm assuming it was allowance. It was 11,000, but I'm afraid to click again. Horse has had some good runs. You go back to off-track race on the 21st. Good. It's not mud. It's good. Looked impressive winning that one by 4. Obviously not this company, but still. It looks like he can get the distance, and the early position, if he has it, might benefit him. Anything on this one? Nice works. You see down here for 12 furlongs. 232.26, I see. So Dirty Torment, also from Induna. Robot Torment, Dirty Deb. 7 of 14 lifetime and on the year. Assuming a late bred 2-year-old. 581,000 in earnings. 2 of 4 on the turf with a second as well. Or I'm sorry, on the dirt. 5 of 10 on the turf. Did run recently during Preakness week. He did run a half-mile race and turf yield, and something went definitely awry there. You go back, he was 5th in the Derby, closing as well. Not sure if he was blocked, but that is a dirt good track, and he was closing. I just don't see, actually down below 316 now, I do see a win in a EC qualifier at 1 mile and 3/8 on turf. So never know. Not sure what happened in the last race, but see what he can get out of him. Sweet Beat, Creekside. When you see Feel the Beat, I want to say Rhythm Trillion in there somewhere. 1 for 7. Lifetime only ran 1 race this year. Got second. Dirt horse. Assuming it's an added. I don't know how many of these were points entry, meaning they scored DC points. Pretty sure this would be not one of those, as I don't see any in the history of its 1 race for the year. But it was a good looking race. Finishing second. I don't see 1.5 miles. So we'll see if it can get that distance and if it can compete with these. Then we have Beat Bomb, which I believe is a half brother to, am I right on that? Yep, to the other prior entry. This one lightly raced, 1 for 7, lifetime 4 for 16. Was in the Preakness, and nice run in the Preakness. It looks like it's a close. I must have been one of those shuffled or blocked. It's trying to close in the Derby. Looks like maybe some trip issues. Either that, dropped to the back and then tried to close. I don't see 1.5 miles. I do see 1.5 miles work on April 13th. 232.07. Now we all know works aren't the ultimate indicator, but just good looking works there.
That's pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, if he can run like that, trust me, from the guy that has sub 232 horses that don't reach potential, probably my fault, not the horses. Works aren't everything, but 232.07, gotta like that one. That work. Captain Hornblower. We're doing a homebred. Trillions United, obviously. Assume there's trillion in there. Amelia Island is the dam. Busy year this year. 20 starts, 8 wins, 5 seconds, and 3/3. So 16 out of 20 in the money. It looks like a lot of qualifiers recently, but none at a mile and a half. We do see a mile and 3/8 on the 20th. The horse was indeed closing. Not sure if that's any type of stakes. I doubt it, being that it got 3,000 for fourth. So he's stepping up. He did run mile, the dirt mile qualifiers, and was right there in those. So just see if it can stretch out. Highland Blade, Chrisman horse, 7 of 16 lifetime, 7 of 16 on the year. So 2 for 2 on the turf with the dirt preference, 5 for 14 the dirt, 8 for 14 in the money, nearly 900,000 points. Let's see, both a Derby and a Preakness. Looks like he had the 12 hole in the Derby. Most likely didn't end up too well in the opening half or 6 furlongs, and maybe was one of those closing. You could see, looked like a lot of them were closing, and if I remember right, they were all over the place in the Derby. Preakness didn't get out too well, but was also closing. I don't see mile 3/8, mile and a half. So I don't know what the distance is, and I don't see any works for it. So again, maybe we can get some. Look at Bob sneaking in there, not jumping in. Maybe we can get some clarity from Chrisman on his mile 3/8, mile and a half-ish capabilities. We already talked about empirical, red hot empirical. Just the trip might make a difference here. Hard to say. That horse is really on a roll. Chrisman has Darmok in as well. Title Ready and Sky Beauty. Ring horse, 15 runs on the year, 2 wins, 4 seconds, 3/3, and lifetime as well. Only 3 dirt races. Got a win in one of them. We don't see that here. We do see consistent 1/2, 1 3/8 turf, not dirt, but we'll have to assume it's good for the dirt as well. Nice close on the slightly off track, wet track turf yield. The mile and a half, he'll be looking to close on this one too.
Is the race fast tonight?
No, it's sloppy.
It's off? Okay.
Yeah. Sloppy.
Yep.
Got some decent works on there. Real good works. I see 232.20s. Similar to, I believe, Empirical's works. Golden Ring and Duna out of 8 Rings and Gold Digger. 22 lifetime, 15 this year. Dirt, 2 for 12. Turf, 1 for 10. Around the money, 258,000. I had this horse, and I don't remember anything about it. But he did run route qualifier last week. Looks like he got pushed back or chose to start back and closed decently in that race. Dirt fast on the 20th of March. looked like the race never materialized for him. Might have been the trip, might have been being blocked. I don't know. Eight horses, so large field. The last one was 10 horses, so he fell back to next to last. We'll see if he can improve. Got some decent works as well at a mile and a half. Cuckoo's Nest, the 11 horse out of Not This Time and Nest. Lifetime 4 for 18, 10 for 18 in the money, 712,000 points. On the year 0 for 12. So we shall see if he can get his first win. And let's look at his recent efforts. I'm looking at the mile and a quarter race with the 97 pace, but this is not, mile and eight. This is not mile eight. He was in the Derby, did not fare well. Looks like he might have went out with speed, and one of the ones that was passed at the last quarter. Like I said, he's not showing the mile and 3/8, mile and a half racing. So only the race will tell if he's got it. I'm looking at the 108.42, which is a close. Yeah, he's got the works that show that he can go at that distance. 12th and last, La Flèche Trillion from Dutton. Domino Trillion, La Flèche Mode, Homebred. 2 out of 16. 7 out of 16 on money, 170,000 points. 0 for 5 on the season. Dirt horse, 2 wins and 9 starts. And he does have some mile and 3/8 races in here. Doesn't look to be in the best of forms, to be honest. He has an off track, did not fare well. I don't know if he went out and got hung, but mile and a half. So he has the distance. I don't see the works to see what they are, but he has run the distance, I will say. Tough spot, though, right here against Empirical and the 12, because you're going to have to make a decision pretty quick to fall back or somehow try to get up there. So with 7 minutes to go, I will turn it over to anyone else. Is Bob in here yet?
I am now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am now. Hello.
I'm going to.
Hey, Bob.
What's up, Dan?
I'm going to stream the 645 just so that I know that the stream works.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to stream using the new viewer instead of me stream using the old viewer, let me know and I'll just back off. My computer.
Just go if you don't mind, if you just want to run it how you want to run it, that's fine.
Yeah. I just have an issue. I just can't. I think my computer video card just doesn't get along with the new.
Yeah, it's definitely more about setups. Even some people that have upgraded stuff, we'll have to keep working on that.
So I'm going to run this race because, the first one you always have to hit the, let it run and all that. So I want to get that out of the way. It is a Futurity Cup allowance race. I know you can't see the field.
So in the meantime, let me make my picks. It's really hard to pick against Empirical. Just has everything going for it. My only concern would be somehow if he runs into some kind of trouble out of the 8, but the horse just seems to be able to overcome anything. I'm going to look, if I'm looking for somebody to maybe surprise, I would maybe take a poke with Highland Blade. Um, it looks like Christmas got this race covered. He's got some horses inside and outside, and he might have a little strategy going on here. Use some of his early ones to try to get this one to get there at the end. And he's got a couple of races that I like. Unlike some of the other ones, he's done his best work this year instead of last. He's a decent earner and a nice colt. I guess if I was looking somewhere, which like I say is really hard to do because I mean empirical just looks the best, but
Mm-hmm.
if I'm looking for a surprise, it would be that. And then you said it earlier. Um, Christmas horse out of the one hole. If he's not using this horse as a rabbit, um, the pole is powerful and nobody knows how to use it like he does. If empirical makes a mistake, I would look for him to maybe be in there. So I'm looking at a 178 box triple. Um,
Is that running on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes,
'Cause I'm
yes, it
messing
is.
with my party hat here. This is a futurity allowance, so at least we know.
We're up and running. So,
that-
so Dan, what was your pick?
Well, all right. Gun to my head, I have to pick empirical.
Damn it.
However,
Messed up
if I'm
again.
looking for a surprise, I go with the 7 Highland Blade, and then rounding out the top 3 with Peak Performance.
Sorry
Yeah,
on this. I messed this up, so I can't see the controls. So it's just going to be in this view the whole time.
it's all right. And so yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is that you got a full field on this one for a mile and a half. That's going to be
Right.
A huge test for that horse. And the news that I got out of it was that Empiricals, this is more of his ideal distance than let's say the first leg was. So he's got that going for him, because a lot of times, in the past, where you get to that third leg, it's the horse that doesn't necessarily get a mile and a half.
But I think he's going to have to run the same race that he did in that mile and a half race that you see in the works. He's going to have to try to get to the top and just cut the race and win it. I
What you
mean,
saying? You're saying like
although
wire it, or
yeah, he ran a real strong race in a mile and a half. He got nipped at the wire second. That kind of race here maybe wins it for him. The only thing is, in these mile and a half races, the fields tend to get stretched out a little bit, so you don't run into the traffic problems. So if one of these other ones can get in there, drop in third or fourth, and stay close, they could make a race out of it. And like I said, if he gets jammed up somehow, um, but listen, it's going
well,
to take a lot to beat him.
yeah, but that's how
Pure
you
and
do get
simple.
jammed up. I mean, you should know that yourself. I mean, sometimes
Yeah,
you
yeah.
try to set yourself up for a certain race, and then you just can't get through the field. It's
Yep.
just
Yep.
it's a tough call.
Yep.
I think that happened
See
with
my party hat?
I'm not sure if it was Milkmaid or one of them. There you go. I love it.
Got my party hat on.
That's funny, dude.
Can't find my party glasses though. Oh, there they are.
See Poncho's in the house. Good evening, champ Poncho.
Okay, fellas and any ladies listening, we have 1 minute and 45 seconds before I hopefully do not screw this up. The overwhelming pick is empirical, but there are some potentials. Obviously, never know what trip people are getting. Good luck, Dash. I don't want to be on anybody's side, but you're always pulling.
Yeah, same
for
thing.
this
I'm not
guy
really on anybody's
winners.
side, but it's always nice to,
Yep.
see a Triple Crown winner.
Yep. Sorry, you can't say that. We'll have to edit that out later.
I'll have to edit it out. Yeah, the digital crown,
Oh boy.
the virtual triple.
Yeah, there you go. 1 minute to post. 1 minute to post. As Dash's Empirical will get his chance to run for glory. And I can't see with these on, so off they come.
Oh, you can't
And
see with the
back-
glasses on?
No, it's too dark. I can't see what's going on. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous that I'll screw up this thing. First of all, let's get rid of us
You'll
clowns.
be fine. You'll be fine. Poncho likes your glasses.
Yeah, I think they're popular. All right. Present. Share screen. Come on. Kick off. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Let's
1.
go.
Show up.
Let's go.
Show up. Someone's watching it live before us. Do not come on and talk about how it finished, please. It's generating.
Here we go.
It did it again. All right, we're going to be stuck with this camera. All right, they are off. 3 go for the lead. 1, 2, and 3. Dirty Torment, Peak Performance, and
Lee,
Double
can
Down
you
Doctor.
highlight Empirical so we can?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can do that.
Crispin's horse didn't like that inside position, and that's not Crispin. And Dune is it?
Yeah,
Who is that?
yeah. The second two.
No, Crispin's. Yeah, it sat inside and then came outside 4 wide. It is too slow for it. So interesting.
Peak Performance
Well,
on the lead. We'll swap to him for a second to get the.
So
at least Empirical's not blocked at the moment.
But he got trapped 3 wide on that first turn.
The
Still 3 wide.
48 and 44 for the leader. He's 3 wide, but he's moving.
No,
And now
I
he's going to
understand.
be.
Yeah, he's closing in on the lead right now.
They're on a straightaway, so
he's already making the move.
Here's Highland Blade has moved into second.
Peak Performance, Highland Blade, Dirty Torment, Double Down Doctor. The only issue I see is if the
it's a freaking
moves up between them.
It's a Crispin and Duna roadblock.
Yeah.
Empirical's grinding it out though. He's grinding. He's making up a little bit every stride.
He may get an opening here, but it's Highland Blade 113. We're watching Empirical look for a hole.
He could block himself
Highland
right now.
Blade though. He's going to need a split.
He's going to have to swing way wide.
No, I think he's going to get an opening here.
He's going wide.
He's going wide, and down the stretch they come. Highland Blade at 113.39. Empirical.
Wow, that's my pick. Triple. Highland Blade, baby.
Let's see what he's got in the tank.
I could have got big odds on that one.
Waiting for the surge down the stretch. He was about this far back in the Preakness. But look at Highland Blade out there.
Okay, this will tell the story.
Empirical's coming. I just don't think he's going to get there fast enough.
Well, I'm going to hit the box triple. I know that.
Highland Blade.
Monster performance.
Monster. Trying to get up for second
nice
Empirical.
Boom. Triple, baby. Highland Blade. Congratulations to Crispin.
You. Oh. Well, congratulations. That was Crispin, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tough break there. Nice run by Dash's Empirical. I just think the beginning of that race probably did more.
Yep, that hurt him.
Than it needed to.
He took what they call the overland route.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Yeah, he wasn't able to advance the whole race like you like to see. I don't know. Now I do know. I'll be honest with you. Dash and I were doing some training on our horses. I do know that the mud bothered him when he was training Empirical between fast and mud. There was anywhere from 0.6 to 0.7 difference. So it told me that the horse may not take to mud. I was training one of my better ones, and we had like a 0.4 difference. Not making excuses, because Highland Blade ran one heck of a race. I don't remember what I said about it, but
Congrats, Chris. I
congrats,
brought you home,
Kristen.
baby. I got you there.
Foggy will take full credit for your victory, as
Yep.
he is.
Yep.
But let's not forget Empirical's 2 wins, neither that
terrific.
were easy.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking Big Bling or your horse Foggy, but I mean they went right.
Yeah.
Your horse had a tremendous Belmont. I don't remember its Derby. Big Bling with the speed was always near the front, I believe, or on the front. Empirical ran 2 massive races in the
Yep.
Derby, and
Yep.
I didn't think he had a chance in the Preakness. Just come flying through there, and then 3 wide for an entire 10 furlongs against quality Derby field. So the horse has a bright future. Obviously, the Classic will probably be next for that horse, and more to its liking, probably. Nice race to watch. Thanks for the folks that were here. Now we'll get some post discussion on Digital Downs, maybe, or Bob, maybe an update on his goats, see if they're and the dog, if the dog's causing any problems.
Nah, I'm just hanging out. I appreciate you doing a live feed for this, and appreciate Dan coming on, and obviously
My pleasure.
the participation of everyone in all the events all season long. But obviously, we love the Digital Crown, and very tough to win the triple. What do we got? It's just 2, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Mermaid was going into the 3rd leg as well, or no? I can't remember last
I
year.
think there's been a few that
I
have
think
won the
Stan's horse
first
is
2.
close, like in every leg that year, but I don't know if he
Yeah.
won any of the legs or not. Arctic Warrior.
Yeah,
Arctic
But,
Warrior. Yeah.
it's been an interesting season because it's the first season for me anyway that I kind of just let the game flow as it naturally flowed with the community. Like I didn't overreact, I don't think, on any particular thing, or tried to make adjustments here and there to appease certain things, or just overall, I naturally worry about everything. So I kind of it's the first season where I just kind of let the schedule kind of play itself out, and just to see what happens, like not overreact when a certain number of races only ran in a day or whatever it was.
yeah.
So it took a lot for me to kind of just like watch it play out. For me, that would be the biggest difference, as far as the season goes personally, and also not to be overreactive to people's opinions and stuff like that. So I try to do a better job with that. And I only have one regret, I think, for the entire season, from a customer service standpoint, and that would probably be the way I handled that one horse in the auction with Bobby Dazzler. I think that's a little bit of a pride thing, where I didn't cover a certain horse only because I had an issue with some back and forth banter, and I think that I probably could have did a better job with that from that standpoint. So
I don't even know.
it was just an issue with naming a horse, and it ended up going into the auction.
Oh,
And
I
that
do
horse,
remember
and
now.
I decided not to cover it. But that's not the proper way to handle customer service with with members and stuff. So I do apologize for that. But so when I reflect on the season, obviously there's still a lot of work to do. But I do appreciate everybody's participation, and I look forward to season 58 and making it even better than season 57. So you have my full commitment, that I can guarantee.
Let's talk about typical things. So we touched on yearlings. I don't look around, but yearlings are out there. This is the common reminder that if you don't want a yearling, make sure you select a different age, both on the ring and breeding, because they both default right now to 1 year of age.
Now, on that topic of yearlings, I was trying to announce something today. I am actually going to try something. I know it's only 10 days left, but I am going to try to put together some yearling time trial event for the last day of the season. And have some awards for that as well. And but I want to get out, specific, details of the event. And also will probably be if people want to donate vouchers as well, towards the event so people can win the vouchers. We may be open to that as well, but there's going to be a bunch of awards, and I'll lay it out. But basically, to try to get more involvement with yearlings, that you're actually doing it for something more than just, prepping for season 58, that there's actually some type of benefit to getting yearlings. So.
Yep. But those won't go on their record, right?
It's not a race.
Yeah.
We don't race yearlings here, so
Yeah, I know. Okay. I just want to
it's
make
more
sure.
of like a workout time. So we would select like a certain distance that all the yearlings need to run. They have to run it without a jockey. It has to be like a trainer weight kind of thing. I think there's a base weight one that you can select. We'll pick a track. So a track, surface, and then a whole setup of how it needs to be run, but it's more of like a time trial. So it's more of a workout time, fastest workout time. We'll have like a top 10. Yeah, top 10 workout times, top 5 females, top 5 males, awards for all that kind of stuff. And it may be fun just to get involved. Now, obviously it may not, it may not do very well this first time around, with late notice and stuff like that. But it's something that I would like to include now and in the future, as far as, keeping things a little bit fun, and another contest to run that doesn't necessarily rely on a race. So.
I
think if you make it fun enough and you make it lucrative enough, you'll get more involvement in it, and then maybe it kind of builds upon itself. The more the community gets involved and stuff like that, then it helps everyone.
So I was daydreaming a little bit. Did you say it would be a specific distance? Or
yes? That I'm not sure of what the distance would be. Should it be a mile? Should it be 5 furlongs? Should it be
2?
6 furlongs? You know what I mean?
2.
2 furlongs?
Yeah. Bring out the sprinters.
Fastest 2. So
2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 6. That's cool. Okay, so for those of you who have never bought a yearling, just as we said earlier, don't be shocked by the looks very slow works. They do improve from their first age change. How much depends. We usually say 0.15 to 0.20 for 6 furlongs, but some go quicker, some don't improve quite as much, but that's generally the feeling. The other distances, I wouldn't even know. I'm sure the longer distances improve by more. So that's almost on yearlings. Just remember the default purchase right now is 1-year-olds. The default home breed is 1-year-olds. Change them if you want something else. Or actually just unclick the box on the home breeding if you don't want the 1-year-old. The other purchase question is the discussion on purchasing horses that are 4 years old with bonus credits. I assume that getting them isn't going to change. It's just a matter of how you pay for them in the upcoming season. Like they're still going to be available.
No, so what we're looking at right now is, I think we stated this 4 months ago, was that we were going to try something new and we were going to roll it out, look at the data, and then this would evolve and kind of make decisions season by season on what's the best for the game. Now, when we introduced the 4-year-old bonus credits, it was all, obviously we knew that there was issues with 4-year-old racing. We wanted to beef up the 4-year-old racing. So I think it checks all the boxes as far as like what we tried to accomplish with allowing 4-year-old geldings to be purchased with bonus credits. What we tried to accomplish, we did accomplish. We accomplished those goals. The 4-year-old racing's it was the best it's been in, I mean, I don't even know how it's been so long. It's been that good, okay, compared to other seasons. So you would have to call this experiment a success, okay? However, there are some thoughts in the community that by allowing this, it's hurt the horses that have been naturally bred through the process at 2-year-old to 3-year-old and the growth to 4-year-old and so on. Now, I don't agree with the arguments that say they can't, a 3-year-old turning 4 can't compete with a newly born 4-year-old gelding. I don't agree with that at all. The data doesn't support that at all. I just think that it again would be more competition, like a late season 2-year-old into the 3-year-old season. The same thing, you just increased the overall pool of competition. So those horses are still good horses. They just are competing with a bigger pool of horses. So what we are saying is you're going to be able to use these the bonus credits to buy 4-year-olds geldings up until May 1st. And as of May 1st, we're not saying that this will never be used again or you're not going to be able to do this again. I'm saying we're putting a pause on it on May 1st to, again, look at more data, see how it plays out in season 58, right? My gut tells me and experience tells me that we will once again fall back into the same situation where great horses like Big Bling and stuff like that don't really get to show what they're all about as a 4-year-old because there's just not enough support of the 4-year-old program. Okay. And then we back full circle to where we were before, where we say, what can we do to improve 4-year-old racing? Well, I know for a fact that allowing the bonus credits to be used helped and improved 4-year-old racing overall. So I have a, maybe you won't see it as much in season 58 because we're going to still allow late season 4-year-olds to be born. There'll be 5-year-olds in season 58 and you'll see those on the track. But I think as the season goes on, you may find yourself in a similar situation as season 56, 55, and so on, where the 4-year-old card just isn't as supported as much. So okay. I said it many times before, if the community doesn't fix the issue, I would attempt to address and fix the issue. And that's what we did, and it works. So people can say whatever they want about their narratives or opinions on, newly born 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds. But again, the data doesn't support the argument,
Okay.
Well, may I?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I have two thoughts on this. I think you're absolutely right. I discount the fact that they're fresh 4-year-olds and so they have an advantage. I don't believe that's the case. I think you hit it right on the head. It's strictly a volume issue. People just breed some good ones. If you dive into the sales ring, people are going to get some good ones out of there, and they're going to be injected into that, and they are going to create more competition for the natural 4-year-olds. And I mean, okay, maybe that's bad or maybe that's good, but the thing of it is, it's an equal and opposite reaction. So for every natural horse that is having a harder time with the competition, there's the other side of the coin. The guy that bought the really good 4-year-old is doing well. So for every person that's suffering, there's at least one person that's benefiting from it. And so it just looks like kind of a wash to me. I mean, listen, we had conversations. I thought that it affected Milkmaid in a big way. And so maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I think she probably could have done better if she didn't have to race against the other 4-year-olds. But I understand how it works. I mean, it's for the greater good of the entire community that more people are finding horses that can perform at that level.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And then finally, the other point I made the other day is I think it's kind of important to note that that greater competition of the 4-year-olds is going to benefit the 2-year-old platform, which I know you've had some concern about. And the reason I say that is that where you had a problem with people retiring their horses a little earlier than they should, now it's going to at least give some credibility to that. They're going to retire them because they're not doing as well. But that's okay because now you have a solid 4-year-old platform. So if guys want to retire their horses, what are they going to retire them for? To breed. And what are they going to breed? They have to breed 2-year-olds. So it's going to improve the 2-year-old platform, I think.
Now,
those are just my thoughts on
that.
Yeah.
So the second point you made about, the retiring to breed, to create 2-year-olds, I hadn't thought about that but prior to the other night when we had a sidebar conversation. It was an excellent point. I hadn't really just put much thought to that at all. And I do agree, and I do understand, and I do think that's actually a benefit of that. You brought up Milkmaid, and I think Milkmaid is a perfect example of this entire thing. You can put Milkmaid if you want in the same category as Big Bling. Just for the conversation point, they're close enough as far as quality. Now, it was concerning to me game wide. Now, even though the game is healthy, we had a situation where we had a monster horse, one of the best horses in the history of the site that, really struggled finding races as a 4-year-old, and that is a shame. So this horse is then running in open allowances and stuff like that because it either doesn't have the horses to fill the races because they're retired, or horses or other stables are, fearful of entering money against the horse, whatever the reason may be. And, we have a situation this year where Mermaid now in this 4-year-old campaign is running against this new system of 4-year-old geldings and such, or 5-year-olds. And the perception would be that Mermaid was hurt in some way because of this. And it's an interesting conversation because, we went over it. Big Mermaid, what's her name? Milkmaid ran all stakes races this season. I think it ran 15 or 17 stakes races.
Yep.
It won 40% of them.
Yeah, won her share. Yeah.
Right. In the money, 73%. Right. And I actually look at it the opposite way. I look at Milkmaid as a perfect example of why this system works, especially with the bonus credits, because that horse took on all this influx of 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds.
And I have to say, after further review, I agree with you.
Yeah.
She's just not going to win as much because, like I said, it's a volume issue.
Right.
There are just more good horses at the level.
And maybe you had to pay attention more now with the competition of surfaces and stuff like that, because if you go back now and just remove the bad runs of of dirt, it's a turf horse, right?
Yes.
So maybe some of this now comes into play where later on in his career and stuff against this influx of competition, where if you go back now and just check this season 57 results based off of turf and dirt, and I guarantee you the turf numbers are way better than the dirt numbers. So, and that's at an overall 40% win rate, 73% in the money rate. So, everywhere I look on this issue, I believe it works and it's the right way to go moving forward. However, I always have to respect the opinion of the community and what they want to see. And I think right now there are folks that supported this process of bonus credits for 4-year-olds that now don't necessarily support it.
I'd love to. I wish they would come
in
and discuss it, so that we could pinpoint their objections.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great. It would be great to hear, because at the end of the day, I don't want to make it like it's like this is what I want to do and I'm going to push it down everybody's throat, because I believe that this is, it's the community's game, and I want to do what's right for the health of the game, the future of the game, and for all the current, stables that we have now. But all the data I see supports what we did.
Right. And so relative to the point I made about how it's going to benefit the 2-year-old platform, there's no way you would have seen that now, because this was the first season. It'll happen organically. It's not going to happen all at once. It's going to take a season or two of it. That's why I would be in favor of continuing it. However, I understand that, if somebody can make a good case otherwise, I would certainly listen to that too. But I think you want to give it a chance to benefit the 2-year-old platform.
Yeah, but, I don't want to have a trigger finger here to pull it either right away. So from me to everybody right now that's listening or watching, that may watch it in the future, we are no way, shape, or form saying that this is going away. Okay, all we're saying is that we're pausing this on May 1st. That's it. So because we also believe that it's not a fair assessment this season 57 on this matter, because it was the first time we did it. There were people that were loaded up with bonus credits that wanted to use them and then did mass breeding with these bonus credits. And as time moves on, that pool is depleted. The bonus credit pool is depleted. So you wouldn't even be able to breed at that current rate, or the rate that we did in 57. Okay. Right. As those bonus credits are removed from the system, which still also impacted something else, which was we included more bonus credits on the card just to reward people, and then to have an option to actually use the bonus credits, moving forward, and it had a purpose. Then
I took advantage of that.
Right, see? And then you talk about newer stables who would be, 4, 8, whatever, 8, or I'm sorry, not 8. Wait, 3. Oh, yeah, be 8, 12 months removed from breeding, getting into the 4-year-old game. If they didn't buy any, they have an opportunity now to get into the
Right.
4-year-old platform as a small stable, even.
That was pretty huge, I think.
Right. Small stables can get into the game and race 4-year-olds. And I think people are missing a bunch of these other things. And I think now they got a taste of it. If we stop it completely for 4 months, they will definitely not like the impacts, come season 59. And they'll be asking for this back again.
Right. Well, the other night I made just offhanded, you know me, I'm kind of stream of consciousness. If it works for one platform, why wouldn't it work for another? What if you allowed bonus credit buys of 2-year-old geldings? I mean, maybe that would require some discussion. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just saying, if it worked for one, what might be the harm? They're still, it's going to get people involved in the game, and it will improve your 2-year-old platform. Now, like I said, it needs further investigation. But
I think you're creating a solution where there's no problem.
Well, Bob sort of thinks there is a problem, though. He thinks that the 2-year-old breeding has fallen off. Now, I don't know how to. I can't. Only he knows that. I wouldn't know.
I'm going to go out and address the elephant in the room.
Go ahead.
And Bob's going to shoot it down or explain it. I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room on the sales ring is when the sales ring first came out, we were spoiled for like a year at least, because the sales ring, several of us were new. We had no way to acquire horses of quality. Sales ring was put in so that we could.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm talking when I joined in 20, which it was added at that point in time. Over the years, people relied more on a ring than breeding. Like I hardly ever bred compared to ring purchases, but we got to a point where the majority of great horses and good horses were ring horses, and those few stables that bred had, still kept up their breeding program. But in my opinion, after talking to Bob, and now this was after the change in the ring. Remember, we only had 20 and 20 before, and probably, or maybe 30 and 30 sires and dams, and probably 3/4 of them, you could hit any combo of 3/4 of them and hit 7 out of 10 horses in a 10 pack and a couple good ones. So, we were relying, people who never played the game before come in and drop $1,000 and have the best stable in the game. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. That's just what happened. So, so the big knock now on ring is you've seen the super horses come out fewer and farther apart, but the ones in between, you're seeing a lot of 94, 95, 97, 98, which are perceived, whether it's realistic or not, they're perceived to be crap horses because people are still looking for the big horse or the not quite so big but pretty damn good horse. So to me, that's what stymied the ring, is because you get the one buyer, one at a time buyer, pack of 3 buyer, and they get, they don't get the super horse they're looking for or the runner up to the super horse they're looking for, and they just stop. Could be wrong, but based on my discussions with folks, that's what I'm
don't
hearing.
Don't you think though, again, organically, so in the early days when you were getting 3 out of 10 good ones or whatever, it takes 3 or 4 seasons for them to get to the point where they then can breed, which would swing the pendulum over to home breeding. And of course, if not as many 2-year-olds are being purchased, then of course not as many really good ones are going to show up. It's just one of those things where it had to run its course. You can't even
Right.
make the comparison because those good ones that were bred as 2 years, it's at least 2 or 3 seasons before they're retired
Right.
for breeding.
I mean,
You know,
the first group, I
right?
mean, were the historical, some of the greatest horses that ever ran.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you had
yeah.
Secretariat, you had
Sure.
Ruffian, but didn't run that much. But Seattle Slew, and so
Yeah,
we kind of got spoiled. And then the next group was almost as good, and the next group, so it got to the point where, I mean, every last dollar I could put was going in that ring looking for,
right.
the old coveted. At the time, we didn't know the original conforms, the 5Xs. We didn't know we had a 5X. We were just
Sure.
going by, works and horse ratings and all that. So it's evolved. And I think some of the folks that were used to getting 70% really good to great runners are disappointed now that they get the occasional great one and then run across several average at best. But now you got to remember there's what 216 or 2 million combinations you can get. So, excuse me, I got the hiccups. So I'll shut up, Bob, and let you respond to
No,
my
it's a
theory.
good conversation. I don't really have much to add on it. It's just that I think you're right on what you said. I mean, it's we when we looked at it from how we look at most things with the game. We look at everything about health of the game and future of the game, and what we think was needed to protect the future of the game. That's the way we look at it. When we rolled out the sales ring, way back when, that was about protecting the future. That was about the health of the game. That was about bad health and no future. And how do we try to build this knowing that it was building blocks? It was never going to be a one season thing, right? So yeah, I mean, creating the ring generated excitement. They got new stables involved. They could jump in, all this stuff, and kind of evolves. Now we got to the point where what we said all along, what our goals were. Our goals were we wanted to make sure that we had a home breeding ecosystem that we were proud of, right? And the way the ring was set up, worked in the initial phase, but it didn't really address the longer term goals of the breeding ecosystem because people would just keep going back to the ring, whatever, right? And then you could see, how someone could heavily mine that setup, whether it was 20 and 20 or 15 and 15 and 30 or 30 on each side, how you could mine that. And obviously that's not what we wanted. So we felt that was not healthy, and it also didn't again work towards the breeding ecosystem. So we felt that it was best to include a larger pool, so give more variety and more in the pedigrees that would be different of the horses coming out, and again that would help and address towards the health concerns of the game, but also um make it so that people did actually work harder on their own breeding barns and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, all of that actually has worked. I mean, the home breeding has been uh, the best it's ever been, you know. But we don't make them. I mean, there's no. We took a hit revenue wise making this adjustment for the game. We decided to put the health of the game and the future of the game over profits, basically, because we could have left the ring how it was, or had certain sires and mares in there that generate interest, for generating revenue. And we decided to not just think about the profits only of what we're doing now, So we take a hit on that for the future and the health of the game. So and we'll keep. I like the way the ring is set up now. I know people are, whether it's numbers or not, the quality's been somewhat addressed. I know 3 months ago we addressed the low end side of mares and the low end side of sires that were in the ring as far as what we were looking for as far as a base number and breeding. What's acceptable for going to a legendary sales ring and buying a horse. So there have been some adjustments made to improve the floor of that, and we'll continue to look at that. So, what I've noticed is that the great big horses can come from the sales ring. That's where you're going to invest in and hopefully land one of those. But the bread and butter races, what I find to be the divisional races or the standard stakes races, those are predominantly homebreds.
Mhm.
So it's an interesting setup, and I think I'm not sure how that relates to the impact on 2-year-old racing or the slower rollout of 2-year-olds. That's really what my concern was. So I'm not sure how that plays into that. Maybe you can tie that back together, or I wasn't listening to something that you said. Um, but there was definitely a slower rollout of 2-year-olds in season 57. I don't know if that's because the eliminator tournament's gotten so big. I don't know exactly what it is, but it was the slowest I've ever seen a rollout of 2-year-olds. Now, at the end, ultimately, it kind of sets itself up back to where, or it comes back into line, as far as
Mhm.
where it should be. But that first 30 days was slow.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it's hard to put a finger on exactly what that is.
I mean, I'm always slow, but I mean, because I try not to breed 50 horses on day one. I try to
Right.
not
But the
use all
site,
my
but
best
but the
breeds.
but the site historically, Lee, has always had more yearlings bred.
I think I gotta be honest with you. I'm not a fan of them. I've never had a good one that I've ever had patience enough to let it get good. I I get
Okay, but
confused by them. I mean, I'm not saying they aren't out there. I just would prefer to breed my own as 2-year-olds, and I don't see an advantage of a yearling over. Maybe you can explain it. Like
no,
I get a yearling on April 30th. I get a brand new 2-year-old on May 1st. I don't
no,
really see the
no,
advantage of a
I
yearling.
think if you just look at it like that, then you are correct. But that's not the way I look at it. I look at it like, okay, if we're talking about May 1st, but that would be like if we bred 2,000 horses on May 1st, then I could completely agree with you, right? But that's not the case. So what happens is, because people don't breed the yearlings, then there's no 2-year-olds to race on May 1st. A maiden race on May 1st goes canceled because there's nobody to enter the race, right? Whereas in seasons past, those races were full. Okay, that's the thing. Like, okay, well, what's the advantage? The advantage of breeding yearlings is you're ready to go day one. You can breed, you can run races. So it's like, if people say, well, I've never seen a good never seen a good yearling or whatever. Well, again, it's a numbers game. If we only breed 50 yearlings compared to 2,000 2-year-olds, then the majority of horses that we say are better horses will be 2-year-olds, because it's just it's numbers, right?
But I think on a yearling too. Think about it though. So 2 points count pointer count. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. Think about a yearling. You're not going to be ready to race most yearlings on May 1st because you haven't seen its age change yet, and you would have had to already enter it.
That's true.
Correct.
That's
So
true. That's
so
true. But
yearlings are not. They're not going to be entered on May 1st very
well,
often.
would you agree? Would you agree that if you have history of breeding yearlings and have history of split times in yearlings, that you would have a basis to go off of? So if I've been breeding yearlings for 5 seasons and I know these splits happen, and I breed yearlings this season for next season, I have a general idea of how this horse is going to run before I enter it.
Well,
Like, split,
yes,
not how it's going to
I
run, but
agree. I agree with your premise. But what you don't know is how much improvement it's going to get.
right.
You can
That I
estimate
agree with.
it,
I
but
agree
so
100%.
maybe I want a blue blood, and there's not a blue blood on the first. Maybe I would like to hear everybody's point. Again, I never claim to be
No,
right.
but
I
see,
stress my
that,
point
well,
is
that's what you just said there. That's the best argument for why someone would hold off, because you don't know what the actual pickup and growth is going to be.
right.
So that's fair, and
Mm,
that's just
okay.
so I can't do
And
much
then,
about that.
I don't see what the difference is between a yearling and a horse that's born on the 1st of May. I just don't see the difference. They can all race on the 2nd of May.
well, that's
So you
what
basically
that was my
lose.
second point.
Yeah,
Is
you lose a
It,
day or
not
two. That's
no,
all.
it's not a good enough
it's just numbers.
reason for me to breed a yearling for the
Right.
sole purpose that okay, now I can
Now,
race May
now,
1.
the way that you could force the issue, okay, and of course I'm not suggesting this, but if you're going to use the tools that you have, what's the most popular series in the game?
Eliminator.
The eliminator, of course. So you run the eliminators on the first and the second. Now they must buy yearlings.
Well, either
But
that or you
I
run
mean, but I don't.
Eliminator,
Who wants to do that? I don't. I
no,
mean, that's crazy. But I'm just saying.
Eliminator for yearlings. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
once they turn
Wait.
well,
Say that again.
I think that the eliminator used to be run that way, and I
Right.
think it was on the first, and I think that the reason
Yeah.
why you see a much larger event is because it is delayed. So like
Of course.
in
Of course.
like the old eliminators, you might have 80 entries in a race, but they were running on the first of the month because that
Right.
was the right. Now it runs
We used to run them on a second because you'd give people a
day.
chance
Yeah.
to breed on the first.
Yeah. So now it runs 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever days into the season, and now you're looking at anywhere from 180 to 220 horses entered, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that you're right. What you're right is what you're saying. You force the issue by making it the first. So people, if they want to be in it, then they have to breed yearlings, and that would work. But I think you would see the entries.
Yeah, you're going to see them
For
dump.
the eliminator, going to drop off.
No one's going to.
Yeah.
No one's going to breed more more yearlings.
No.
If you can't, if you already don't have the confidence to enter them in a regular maiden,
Correct.
as a yearling on May 1st, you're not going to have.
Right.
Most people aren't going to have the confidence, or, in my opinion, the desire to run an unknown quantity.
Right. And
where
Lee,
you have
you and I landed on the same thing. I mean, there's no difference between breeding them on
Yeah.
the 30th of April and the 1st of May.
In my
makes no
opinion,
difference at
now,
all.
if
I-
some
well,
people believe that
how
gives you an
can it?
additional age change bump, I don't know.
It gives you an additional
Well,
age change.
because it gets its normal bump from aging, and then it gets
You
the
mean
yearling.
from
So
1 to 2? You mean?
Yeah, you might think it gets
Well,
double bump.
when a 2-year-old is bred on the 1st of May, isn't it? It's according to. It would have been the same horse as a yearling. It's already had its bump, so you don't even have to worry about that anymore.
I don't mean to be the yearling disruptor.
No, you're not.
But
I don't like them either, but for
the-
an entirely different reason. But that's okay.
Well, also, I look forward to my home breeding, but I don't really want to breed. The great unknown. I just don't know. Oh, 109.23. I wonder what that's going to end up being. It's it could be 108.
So
45 for all I know, but
right.
So let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
So you think then what I'm trying to do next with this whole yearling time thing, you think is going to be a waste?
No.
No,
Be
because
honest
now
with me,
it does give a purpose to a yearling.
It adds some benefit.
There's just nothing unique to a yearling to make me want to buy a yearling, other than I can enter it on May 1st.
Right.
So to me, now some people are ready for season to start now, and they just want to start buying and breeding just to have brand new horses. But I again like to get some other opinions, because I'm trying to look at it neutral. I'm just trying to think of what would make me want to buy a yearling over, buying or breeding a 2-year-old on day one, and I just can't come up with anything.
Yeah,
It's very much like spending big money on an unraced horse in the auction versus a horse that's a proven horse in the auction. It's the same principle. Is you're not going to spend a lot of money on an unproven commodity. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think sometimes I just have to accept the reality of certain things, right? So, like, our game is, we have 4-month seasons. It's not like you can install something where there's some type of value or benefit of, a horse's the growth path of a 1-year-old horse, where you're training it up through different distances, and then you know what I mean? Like there's nothing there for me to, make having, breeding yearlings more valuable, or have it make more sense to do it. I mean, I think of things to do, but there's the only benefit to doing it, I say, is if you're able to race more races early in the season, May 1st, May 2nd, but there's no actual benefit other than that.
Well, you got people that might come in, or new people that came in the middle of the year, and they don't want to wait. Like they'd like to start building the stable for next year right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
So
be a reason by yearlings, I would think. But
yeah, I mean, so I'm saying, like, so there's reasons to do that. That's why you allow it to be done. But for
Yeah.
me to every time I sit back and say, you know what, you can try whatever you want, it's not going to matter, because if you go back in time and look at all the stuff that was done, even prior to me, prior to my involvement, look at the silliness of people trying to grow this, like allowing 1-year-old racing, right? Ridiculous.
Oh no, that was
Yeah.
a huge failure.
Right. Look at the yearling tool, which I don't even know if it's still on the site or not, that allowed you to like manipulate the bars and stuff. I forget exactly what that was
Mm.
for yearlings. For what? To
I
generate
think
more.
that's still around, isn't it? If you
I
buy,
thought I
I
killed
haven't
that.
bought a yearling in 3
Thought it was,
seasons, but
I thought I killed it. No.
yeah, I thought I saw
I don't.
that when I bought one by mistake.
I don't remember, but
And
I know there was something you could only do with
yeah,
yearlings and nobody
I'm gonna
else.
see.
But I
I'm
don't
gonna, I'm
remember
gonna
what it
see.
was.
I'm gonna see right now. Hold on. I'm gonna. Okay, there's a yearling. Hello. There we go. No, I believe it's dead. I believe I killed it.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
okay, all right.
So, but I'm saying, like, think of all the things that we've tried to do to get yearlings to be, for people to buy them. None of it's worked. Some of it's been so silly that
Right.
All right, but let me ask you this, Bob. Is there a benefit to the site for you to, other than the obvious, you're bringing in some revenue at its earliest possible chance? You're bringing in revenue that you wouldn't see until May 1st and 2nd. You're bringing it in the first month of. Now, I can see that there's a benefit to that. I suppose your cash flow and stuff. But again, the equal and opposite reaction to that is, so you used to be in the coffee business. Would you buy 1,000,000 pounds of coffee hoping that you would sell it after the first of the? Just a terrible investment to invest all that money and just let it lay there. That's my biggest problem with
no,
it.
that makes complete sense. I mean, that's the way I would look at it. I wouldn't want
It's horrible
to.
business.
Yeah,
But
I
I
wouldn't.
do understand people want to tinker with them and stuff.
Right.
Okay, all right, I
That's
guess.
I
why I'm
mean,
saying right
Yeah,
now. I
go
think.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Lee. I think
no, go
that.
ahead.
I think it's like trying to make it better and trying to improve something that's great, But
Mhm.
at some point in time, I just need to realize that, dude, you don't need to do nothing. You don't need to do anything. Just let it go.
I
You
mean,
have yearlings. You make them available. People can either do it or they don't. I got bigger fish to fry. There's other things that
right.
whatever, and just let it take its natural course, and don't get into the gimmicks and all this other stuff. It doesn't. It's not even a revenue thing. Honestly, we never even thought about it from a revenue standpoint. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter to us. You could say it offsets championship purses and stuff, but that's not the reason why we thought about it either. It's just we want better involvement with 2-year-olds earlier. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes then
Okay.
we
All
look
right.
in the wrong direction. So I think really after this conversation, I just need to not worry about any of it. It's
I would.
open to use. If you
I
want
would
to use
just
it, use it.
love one of the or multiple established stables make their case of how the yearlings enhance the game for them. I'd love to know what it is that they like about them. Like, what is it that they feel is beneficial about that part of the
All right.
game?
So I'm gonna
That's
go
all.
back. I'm gonna go back to my premise of what incentive do I have to get a yearling?
Hmm.
Right now, for me, I don't see one other than having a good chance to look at it before the season starts, like you do, kind of like the people are doing their unraised 2-year-olds. Um, the other incentive to me would be, when you buy a game early, video game, what do they always do? Oh, buy it now and you'll get, a additional character in the game or 10% off or whatever. So that's the only thing I think of. The incentive would be a yearling is less expensive, which again is going to cut your revenue.
That's a good point. Yeah,
but then again, if it's revenue you were never going to have anyway,
right.
Or maybe a package of yearlings is less, rather you don't get killed on the ones.
Yeah.
Well,
buy 4 or
I mean,
5
I'll be honest with you on that point. I actually tried to do something last week, and then I realized that some new programming or some new stuff I put in place actually took away my ability to discount that. So last week I was going to actually offer a discount on yearlings.
That to me would be the
right. So, but then I forgot I actually
numbers right.
But then I forgot I actually tied some pricing options into state breads, where state breads took more precedence over a base price. So it actually has to be reprogrammed. So that was unexpected. But that will be
something like the fee. Could that be? Huh? Well, how about something like you don't pay $1 for the fee for the instead of
for the championship fee?
So you said you can't discord. So like when you go to buy any 2-year-old, 3-year-old, not 3-year-old, but 2-year-old or 1-year-old, the first box tells you $14, right? And then the second box is the $1 for the BC fee or BC fee or whatever.
Sales ring, yeah.
So,
No, it's the same for everything.
No, it's the same, not the same amount of money. He said 14. I was just clarifying.
No, that's true. Like breeding is what, 9?
Yeah, it's 9 plus 1.
Okay. So for a yearling, could that fee be included?
Yeah, no, it could be. Again, that would have to be.
I don't know if it's enough to make people. I mean, I think people are looking at say, oh, if I could get them for $12, I might buy them. You could do surveys now in Discord. So
well, I think that. Yeah, well, I would have bothered the programmers to actually make some adjustments to it.
Well, but the follow-up question to that is, why would Bob want to do that? Why would he want to sell them at a discount? No. It doesn't make any sense from his point of view, I don't think.
Okay, ask me, Foggy. Would you buy them if you could get them for 12 instead of 15? And then part 2, would that affect what you buy or breed normally? Like if it's just taking one basket of your money and moving it. So where I spent $100 on yearlings, but now I'm not going to spend that $100 on regular.
I don't know what the number is, but if it was a substantial savings or a discount, I would probably then consider it.
Yeah, you don't want to rob your pools of money. I mean, I'm not asking them to lose money. If you thought the people in general they're going to spend the same amount of money regardless of what they buy.
And my point is, though, why would Bob do that? What is?
Yeah, and no, I agree. I
don't see an incentive for him to do that.
And
I don't blame him.
Of all the incentives, maybe we're being too dramatic on that. Price.
It's like any other consumer. For whatever. Some people are more moved by specials than others. I mean, you may not move you, but someone else may do it. That's the only reason why you do it, because you could say, well, it depends on if you're looking at it from a month standpoint or a year standpoint. Say, well, if we do nothing, then we generate X. If you just want to go pure numbers, and then if we do this, then we generated this much. So we were more profitable here. It depends on how you want to look at it from a business standpoint.
But your only gain in doing that is you're going to improve the first 2 or 3 days of racing of the season.
But
it just doesn't seem like enough.
You don't even know
right. Yeah, that's true too.
People that are buying them still may not enter May 1st.
Right. They still may enter, but you could say if it was only dollars and cents, you could say, well, you generated X revenue during this period of time when otherwise you wouldn't.
Right.
That's not what I'm going after. I'm going after more races. Right. It's not revenue.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So here's the other thing to this. Like I'm pretty soon, I don't know exactly when, but soon in the future, I'm going to end up taking another hit. Okay. And that's so the if we look at all the numbers and say, well, gold bonus, platinum bonus, this bonus, state bred bonuses, look, sire bonuses, breeder bonuses, horse bonus. Look at all the stuff that we put back into the game. The site is actually we're feeling that.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to actually add another thing to that. So sometime in the future, I don't know if it'll be season 58 or not, but in the future, we also will be dealing with the jockey fee.
The what?
So the jockey fee.
Jockey fee. Okay.
So that'll also be going away. So
Going away or just reducing?
going away.
Oh.
The jockey fee is going to
The
go
10%.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you going to make that?
So yeah, how do you make any money then?
Well, listen.
Does that incent people to race more just because there's no jockey fee? Or?
Not necessarily. I think it cleans up some other matters, but it's just
okay.
You know, what I'm saying is that I would like to address that, maybe some race purse stuff. My thing is I want to keep improving the game. So let's put it this way: I say,
All
well,
right.
how are you going to make that up? And I say, well, if you continue to build the game and you continue to make the game healthier and continue to improve the community size and continue to improve the value overall of the game, then the horses should be more valuable. Transactions should happen between the horses, and the fees that are involved with that maybe make up some of that. So
But
what we're
eliminating that, let me tell
That
you
seems like
how
a
that.
big hit,
Let me tell you why that doesn't make sense to me. It's just like when you're playing in a poker game at a casino, they rake each and every pot. But guess what? That rake only comes off of what the winner wins. So that jockey fee only affects the people that have made money in the race. It doesn't affect the other 9 horses in the race.
That's true.
Has no effect on them. So to eliminate that from your point of view, I think does not make any sense. I don't know why you would strive to do that.
No, I just think it needs to be done in a different way. I don't want it to seem like more of a rake.
Yeah.
Do you understand my perspective? Here's the thing. People can say what they want about these. This is a skill-based game. We don't use randoms. We use randoms for a gate draw, and if you're all maidens, then you have to randomly select jockeys. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not based off of earnings and stuff. It's a skill-based game, and so I wouldn't be comfortable with a comparison to a hand of poker and a rake with a poker hand because they're not in the same.
Oh, but no. The point is, the people that pay the rake are the ones that have won the race.
That won the
That
race. Yeah.
never changes.
That's
It
true.
doesn't matter if it's maidens or randoms or anything. The only people it affects are the ones that have already won the money in the race,
Right.
and they're the ones that can afford it.
Well, that's true.
It's
I
not
guess
a big
so.
deal.
Right. I see what you're saying. Because if you were gambling poker, everybody pays the rake, right?
No, only the winners pay the rake.
Well,
When you win a hand, they've already raked that hand.
well, isn't
So
it
the winner gets all the rest that's in the pot.
right?
That's-
Okay.
So it doesn't affect the other players.
Okay.
It only affects that one. Now, over the long run, you have to take that into consideration your ROI for playing so many hands and blah blah blah. But because money comes off the table in the long
Right.
run. So, yeah.
I just look.
But
If
it doesn't.
it works for
It
you,
doesn't.
that's fine. I see
doesn't
really-
impact. It doesn't impact anything now. So maybe I shouldn't even bring it up. I'm just saying there's things down the line that what I'm talking. I guess the point is, like I said, it probably was going to happen this season. The point is, our goal. It's not. It's and everything we've talked about. It's never been about a push of how much money we can make today, right? It's always been about the health and the future of the game, and even things that we want to create more value overall, so that horses have increased value, and I think that helps increase race purses and stuff like that. We want to continue in that fashion no matter what we do. So the conversation on yearlings and stuff like that, we remove whatever solution would be in place that is only for generating revenue, because that's not what we're trying to do, right?
Right.
So I guess to sum up that whole conversation, I guess after all of this, is there a benefit and value for breeding a year? I can't sit here and say, other than being ready to race day one, maybe not. So stop trying to push all this.
Or the end of year auction.
The end of year auction. That's a good one.
We've had several go.
Yeah, that's true. We've had some good yearlings go.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've kicked that around enough, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So next one, I just saw a post. I didn't realize it. So can you clarify? We're not doing World Day this season.
What do you mean?
I saw a post. I thought it was Gary or somebody saying
Yeah, those end of
there's
season World
there's
Day
no
races.
end of season World Day races or something.
There's
You know
world
that
there's world stakes races. The only races that haven't been posted yet that are going to be posted are the Claiming Crown end of season races. They're not posted yet.
shame there is no World Cup races this season. The ones that normally run on the last day of the season.
Yeah, they're posted. Those
Dash just said they're up now.
Okay.
yeah,
So Gary, okay, good. See,
we do the
you gotta
same.
watch the podcast.
No,
man.
see, we do the same thing every single season, and it surprises me sometimes when veteran stables, post certain things or comments or whatever. When we do the same things every single season. The World Day is never really posted before the Crown races are over. The EC races are not posted until the Crown, races to eliminate some confusion. So the World Stakes days, they're not preloaded. They are manually added after a certain point, usually based on whatever is going on in the season, right? So if we have healthy season, then we add a certain number of World Stakes races. So like for instance, this season, the World Stakes races will cover probably more than last season. So we'll have even more World Stake races to be available to you. So it's usually we look at it and judge everything and then upload it. So that's pretty much what we've done. The only thing that hasn't been loaded are the Crown races for the last day. The EC championships start going in tonight or tomorrow morning. And the obvious the end of season championships for like the Futurity Cup, they'll all be posted naturally as they come up. So we run World Stakes races. It just depends on when people look for them or not, whether they would be up.
The EC races can't go up until all of the qualifiers are done, correct?
Right, exactly. So we right, and they're over on the 24th. I mean, I can post them, but we won't know who's able to enter them.
So we always have a little confusion. Let's I'm gonna say it wrong, so you have to correct me. Okay. The EC races, there's no automatic entering.
No.
When they're posted, you go enter them. Now, obviously, the top 12 or the top 10, depending on the distance, aren't all going to run because some are in multiple and some will just choose not to run. Is there any guideline, like don't enter them if you don't have any points is obviously one guideline, but like anyone below 20 shouldn't enter? Or
no,
I do that.
I think it's really, to me, it's real simple on until, and look, first of all, I'll say at some point we would love to have it so that it auto closes. But the only reason why we don't is because there's horses that have points in multiple.
Right.
Okay. Right. So that's the reason why we leave it open. So my suggestion would be to everybody is, number one, if you have 0 points in that specific race, I don't care if you have points for some other race, like stick to the standings that you're in. If you have 0 points for that race, please do not enter the horse. Do not. It creates quite a bit of a back end work to do. If you have 1 point and you're interested in the race, consider the type of race and look at the entries. It's like you already know if the big races, you're less likely to get in if you have 1 point. It's going to be the top 12 horses, the top 15 horses that go for those because it's the biggest money, right? But if you have 1 point, enter. You never know.
Right.
There were races that went last year that didn't have all 12 because they went elsewhere. And horses, if they had 1 point, would have been in the race. Okay. They're free to enter. There's no entry fee. You earned your right to be there.
Right.
So enter the horse. Now, we have to go through it. If there's more than 12 entries or 10 entries, whatever the race may be, we have to go through it and make sure that the proper 10 or 12 horses at the end of the day reach the post.
Right.
The biggest issue we find season in and season out is that people just don't pay attention or they don't listen. They enter a bunch of horses that have never been in the racing contest and all that kind of stuff. They don't look at the standings. They don't look at the descriptions. And, so that's why the argument for closing the race or by its automatically also comes in, because it then eliminates all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's not, this doesn't work as we get bigger. 200 stables, 300 stables, this would not work, because you can't allow an open network and expect people to do the right thing. It's just not going to work. So you would have to eventually close it off in some way. You would have to maybe change again the days that you run this stuff on. Give people an option again to maybe run 2 of the races if they've qualified. So instead of running them all one day, open it back up to 4 days apart and so on. But they would auto close. Right? You could do something like that as well. But for now, if you have Elite Cup, the EC Elite Cup Championships, don't enter the races that you have no points in. Because your horse will be removed, and
Okay.
That's that.
Okay.
So along that lines, I'm looking on the site here. All the juvies are the 26th.
26th.
Is that correct? The 3-year-olds are the 27th, and then the seniors are the 28th.
28th.
Okay. So 3 days for each one of the ages. Okay. Now, on those, you pick a jockey from the entry, unlike the other series where you actually go into the series standings and pick the jockey. Correct, right?
Right. So when you enter the Elite Cup Series, just like entering any other race, you have to choose. You're going to go through this jockey selection process.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's EC. EC series. All the others, Anita, Futurity, those work off a different methodology, I assume.
Right.
You need to go and see if is there a regular and a consolation for each of those? There's the Anita, there's the old timer, there's the Futurity, there's the Sprint. Are all those? I haven't kept up on all those. Will have finals here.
All of those are on the old system, and they all automatically post a championship race and a consolation race.
And if I don't want mine in it, so be it. It's in it anyway, or how's that work?
Yeah, you would have to pull once it posts. You would have to pull your horse.
But then someone from the consolation won't move into.
No.
Okay. So the field's set in both races. The only changes that are going to be made is if someone drops out. So if 8 people of the 10 drop out of, and I'm just being facetious.
Yeah.
If 8 of the 10, 8 of the 12 drop out, it's going to run with just those 2 or 3. The consolation. Let's not say it that way. Let's say 4 drop out.
Yeah.
Which leaves 6.
Yeah. I think the most I've ever seen would, if they even make sense, ever, would be two horses. And the reason why it doesn't happen is because it's basically free money. Yeah. So why would you scratch a horse from a free money race?
No, I'm not justifying, just clarifying.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay. You're getting You're getting some clarity here. And yeah, so they post as is. There's no there's
no reason, because you can't pick one or the other, right? I mean, you're an old timer. You ran through the old timer series, and that's where I didn't know if there's a way that like a horse could be in two of those, that like a Sprint and a Futurity or something.
It's not likely, only because of the time period that they're rolled out. Like the Superstar Sprint or Anita series starts from day 1. Like there's literally on the card day 1. Whereas the Futurity is 2 months later. So the likelihood of you having enough points, because it's also a very old school point system, which means that you're not getting 90 points for a grade 1 or something like that. It's the standard system, whereas you only get, like, if there's 10 horses and you win, you get 11 points. Not like the grade 1 stakes where you would get 90 plus the field, 102 points. So, it's not likely, but also I'd have to look at it because, I hadn't really thought about any type of crisscross on.
I was just
but
thinking of
you
that
will
one.
get the system will automatically bounce you out of one of them.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I didn't know. Which if it did it or if the person.
Yeah, it'll look to see if you're entered. If you're entered into something, it'll bounce it. So if it closes, let's say whatever one closes first. So let's say the Old Town Series closes first, and it posts it, and then it gets the Superstar Sprint, and your horse is in that as well. Well, it's going to see that you're in the Old Town, and it's going to scratch you. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So.
And listen,
all the other
listen, I'm sorry. That's all part of why we're trying to revamp all of these series and have individual pages per series. It's all self-enclosed and posts itself and all that kind of. That's why we're moving in that direction, and we will be there probably by the end of season 58. You will see that work is finished, because we don't like these different processes. Like, for instance, if you go to the old series, Old Town Series, Futurity, San Antonio, they're going to self-close. Now, you get a certain period of time then to go check the standings. You'll see that you can make a selection. You click that, edit your jockeys, right? That's how you enter your jockeys. The funny thing is, if you go back in and do it again, you're going to be like, wait a second, I have to change my jockeys again. Because, no, every time you go into it, it thinks you're trying to change the jockeys. So it gives you the standard jockey view. So I'd like to streamline and get all this stuff moving in the same direction, the same process.
Yep.
Which we'll get there soon, actually. So.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. These are all coming off the top of my head. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about the auction. 28th, correct?
Right.
And assuming around the same noon to start, one start 11. So I don't know what's going on next Sunday. It would have to be worked around. Or wait a minute, that's Monday. The auction's on a Monday? No, wait. I'm sorry. What day is today? 20th?
20th.
Tomorrow? Okay, never mind me. Sunday the 28th, we'll have an auction. Not Saturday.
Not Saturday.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's back to it's the normal method of entries are Wednesday. They close for entry Friday. And then the auction will be on Sundays. The actual ending, the bids ending on Sundays.
Okay. And I will be on that day, especially since I'm going to have in there, might have several horses, so I want to talk them up.
I may be on as well because we have, I might have a break in soccer that weekend.
So anyone that wants their horse talked up, get a hold of me. We'll work out a financial deal. They want another horse talked down. Just kidding. Disclaimer, totally kidding. I talk them all up usually. Now, any horse again, 2-year-old, yearling, 2, 3, 4, breeder.
All horses are open. You got to remember that will be on the last day of the EC championships. So,
yeah. Are they afternoon races or evening?
I don't know. I'm sure it'll be throughout the day.
Yeah.
So there'll be some money changing hands. I mean, it's a good day to be in the auction if you have good horses.
Well, that's just the 4-year-olds, though, right?
No, but you've had the Friday, Saturday, or championship races, so there's
no. I'm saying that there's only like 3 or 4 4-year-old races, right?
Right.
So.
Right. No, I get your
the auction is the day of the 4-year-old finals, right?
Yeah. I guess my point is it's a good. It should be a good auction in general, just from gain credits being available.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about having the auction while the other stuff's going on. I was just saying that.
I personally love the auction on the last day of the season. I think that's a fantastic one.
Yeah, I like that too.
But
it's hard if it's a weekday.
Yeah. So I kind of stay away from that.
Okay, so hopefully we'll be on the auction. Okay, so that's the auction. And then again, on the age change coming up on 12:01 p.m., a.m., I guess I should say. If you're trying to check your horses, you might want to wait a few minutes. 3-year-olds, you have to wait a day, right?
Yeah.
So to make it safe, wait till like 12:15, on the 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, whatever, yearlings to 2-year-olds. But
Yeah,
you could read. Last year we had a little issue of, someone snuck some. Well, we had the issue with the site freaking screwing you over, the site manager, but
yeah, that was a nightmare.
like they'll try to buy a sales ring at 11:59, and then be mad if you don't get what you want or whatever. Be reasonable about it. I just say I usually wait about 4 or 5 minutes before, and I try a 2-year-old, and if it
I
looks
think
different, then I do it. But I also go back a second time, so I don't train them all that first night, because I like to give them all, the 12, 24 hour before I go back.
yeah,
But I know others 12:01 they want to see him.
yeah.
Is there
I
any
mean,
issue of breeding at 12:01? If someone breeds one at 12:01, is there a chance they could not be seeing the end result of a 2-year-old?
no,
Okay.
no. It's just that as you can imagine, at that exact period of time, the server is just getting pounded.
Yeah.
So really, the process, everything's super fast, and the process is good or whatever. It's just that sometimes you just get a lot of hits on certain pages and stuff, and so
Yeah.
it's not a big.
Same thing with
It's
the
nothing
ring.
really that we're
Yeah.
concerned about. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the server is great and we can handle all kinds of stuff, but
Yeah.
when a certain process gets continuously getting pinged over and over and over again, at that rapid speed,
Right.
sometimes there's a delay here and there, but it
Right.
usually works itself out pretty quickly. The biggest thing to remember, regardless of what time you want to do it, 12:01, 12:05, is that you're going to see your age changes on 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds and older. The 3-year-olds are 20 are just they're 24 hours. So I mean, you can train your 3-year-olds, but your numbers are going to change.
Yeah.
I would imagine in some form by the
Yeah,
next.
they do. Yeah.
Um, that's it. I
Okay.
mean,
So
I wish
that's
that was different, but that's not the case.
no. It's one day, not an issue. People will be busy entering their limb horses.
Yeah.
2-year-old
Okay.
limb. All right. Anything else you want to talk about that's new? Any issues? Any complaints from you to us that we're not doing right, or not complaints, but
No,
suggestions?
no. I would just say it's really about some of the stuff that we would like to do. I think wish I could share more information, but I could just tell you that we've been seriously bogged down for 3 months with some major programming stuff on the backside, and it looks like we're really nearing the end of this. And this has been going on since, I said 3-4 months, but really it's been going on since August.
And nothing to do with the game mechanics. It's the
Yeah,
language or something.
yeah, it's language stuff. It's future stuff. Again, it's investing into the future of making sure we have a healthy platform and a game for the future for many years to come. Has a lot to do with um, 64 gig versus 32 gig.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
meant.
a
That
bunch
kind
of
of
stuff that'll give you a headache, but
yeah,
it costs money and it takes a long time to do it correctly. So we're being doing our due diligence and making sure we're thorough. Apparently more sometimes I think it's too thorough, but
yeah.
we are winding that down to completion. So my heads up to anybody that's still watching or will be watching is that something that we've never done before is going to happen, which is we will at some point in time shut the site down for an overnight maintenance
Okay.
to finalize this process, that we've been working towards all this time, and it's been since August. It's been a very long time, and I can't wait for this to be completed, because really the things that I've been wanting to do for you guys, and some of the major things that you guys might have asked for, we haven't been able to get to any of those real things that make an impact because of the work that we've been working on. So I can't wait for this to be finished so that I can get back to doing what I love to do, which is make the game great and better and different things, or add certain cool things like
Jumps.
showing you certain progress on your horse on the horse page and stuff, just
Oh yeah.
just like really cool stuff, or I want all of this gate stats, the post positions per horse on your data pages and stuff, like specifically that you guys can look at and get into, like just really cool stuff like that helps bring more involvement into the game. It doesn't change the way you race, whatever. It's just information at your fingertips.
Right.
So like the self-enclosed races, or the race that we run every season now has a history that you can see all the past winners and who won that race all the time. So for every race,
cool.
It's like cool stuff. So I look forward to doing that, getting back into doing that. That's what I love to do the most. So it looks like we'll be able to do that soon, but do expect a site maintenance thing to come out at some point in time. It may be, 1 overnight, could be 2 overnights, could be 3 overnight, whatever it may be for them to take care of it. But it's going to happen.
So I did bring it up, but steeplechase or jumps, is that a?
Yeah, no, I know people keep asking for that. I would love to do that. But it's going to take a back seat until I believe we have a finished product here with what our bread and butter is.
Right.
So, while we're working on this major project we're working on, we're not even thinking about steeplechase because, we had this major thing in front of us that we have to complete, and we can't even get to the stuff that our current members want or need because of this project. So there's a pecking order to this thing, and order, the priorities and that kind of stuff. And, so I think this season has been this season we have introduced less than any other season.
Right.
Some people love it. Some people love it because no change, no this and whatever. But, some people do want to see progress.
Right. There's been more information. Like, the jockeys got
the jockeys have been awesome. I love the jockeys. Yeah.
You can. I hadn't done that the other day until recently, where I'm like, oh, this guy likes the off track, huh?
Yeah. There's some nice jockeys in there.
And then we had for I don't know 2 seasons now, the breeder stats on every single stable, top, by wins, I think, or you can sort it always. We had
and we're even
going to workouts, top race times, all those things got added.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. I know we're going to go another level now on the breeders thing to bring that more into to even more information on that. There's a lot of stuff that's lined up. It's just we just got to get to it and get through this major piece of programming and or coding or whatever.
Yep. All right. Well, it's been almost 2 hours.
Got
another hour to go. Another hour.
No. Last things. I actually have to go because I have some things to do. But the 2-year-old racing. See, this is how stuff spirals out of control, or spirals downward or upward, or whatever you want to call it. The 2-year-old racing rollout was slow. That's on you guys. You guys did that. The result of that was we've had lower horse earnings than 2-year-olds. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do somehow this season, in season 58, is raise that bar a little bit as far as value and what the 2-year-olds can earn. So I'm trying to, I want to make an effort to improve the earnings of 2-year-olds in season 58. That's my goal.
Okay.
Right. 3-year-olds make good money.
Mm-hmm.
4-year-olds make more money this year than they have in probably forever.
Right.
My goal is to get the 2-year-olds at a certain place where, and I know I did that with the blue bloods and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but I think there needs to be some better mix of racing outside of EC races that increase the earnings of these 2-year-olds.
Okay.
Where it also makes sense for you to get into breeding early on 2-year-olds and not worry about late season 2-year-olds for your 3-year-old campaign. You want to do late breeding, fine, but you're missing out on thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
So that's on you. You know.
I hear you.
So again, it's like build it and they will come. I'm trying to build it, and hopefully we see the entries.
Okay.
That's it.
Foggy.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to throw in there?
Yeah, AKA Trillion just moved into second in the classic points, so I'm looking forward to facing Empirical again
Oh,
in the classic.
nice. Yeah, you both kind of in the Preakness had a little tough journeys, and you got blocked twice. Who knows? Might have come up and made it a win. Let's see what else. Oh, congrats to Crispin again. On what do you get? 1-2 on that? Empirical third?
Yeah.
What it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations to Crispin, his $1,000 day, I imagine, with first and second. Congratulations to Dash on great run with Empirical. And I'm looking forward to that classic race with all you studs in there. But and I've made a commitment to Bob. Hopefully Foggy will join me times. We're gonna do more podcasts again. Might just be shoot the shit podcasts, but all depends on how many viewers we get, how many comments we get. But I like doing them. I just don't like doing them by myself or with.
But see, I want to do them too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I want to help out too. I love doing the podcast, and don't worry about the views. Listen, we only have so many stables, you know. So the views on the live nights may seem low, but I'm telling you, it all helps. They all get views. 2 months from now, someone's going to watch this video.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't like to ramble along by myself, though. I like.
Oh no, I get it.
I get interaction. You know.
I totally get it.
All right.
Much appreciated, guys. Thanks for
boys.
playing.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for.
Congrats to Crispin again.
Yeah.
And
take it easy, fellas.
All right.
Take care.